Someone says, is zero timing correction / retarding attainable on 93 and how? I was trying to think of a good analogy to describe why this isn't even something you should want. If you ever see zero correction on fueling or timing, something's probably broken.
Either your battery's dead.
It's not a good thing, and the timing and fueling correction adaptation of the factory ECU is a really nice feature, and you want to see it working.
Yeah, I mean, if it's truly zero all the time, there's a couple of things. Either you're so far underneath where the optimal timing could be, or the system's been numb to the point where it's not responding to actual events that it needs to. But having a tickle here and there of timing on like the lower octane fuels, 91, 93, is, I'd say, completely normal and something that's I wouldn't hesitate to worry about at all.
This is kind of like saying, is it possible to have an autonomous driving system that takes you down the road and never moves the steering wheel? And it's like the car needs the steering wheel to move so that it can stay centered in the lane. The steering wheel is supposed to move to keep the car centered. That's what's actually important. Whether the steering wheel's moving or not is not what's important. The important thing is, are you in the lane? Are you driving in a safe position in the lane? And this is the same thing with the ECU. You want the ECU making those adjustments. That's why it's there. That's how the ECU is supposed to work. I think there's some misconception in the market that if you have any corrections, that's bad. And there are bad tunes out there that rely on corrections to keep the tuning in a relatively functional range. That's not good. But if you have a good base tuned file, you do want to see those corrections, because there are circumstances that can optimize.
I don't know if you can read that.
No.
One of the Instagram comments is literally your steering wheel analogy.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
It's like, you stole my line. Yeah.
Sorry.
But anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to.
I was like
scrolling off the screen and
thinking of a good analogy, and that one just came to mind. But I was also thinking about somebody on a high wire, making adjustments too. And it's like, can you cross a high wire and be perfectly still? Like, well, why would you want to be?
Yeah,
you're balancing for a reason.
And we've talked about this in some of our other videos, but just if you see zero corrections on a tune, that doesn't mean it's a good tune or a safe tune or a safer tune. You don't know what's going on under the hood. That isn't a number that you can rely on to indicate really anything without knowing every single detail of what's gone into that file. That number could mean your motor has left the chat and is gone. If you see 1 degree of correction, it could mean that it's overly sensitive and too active and picking up false detection. If you've got a bunch of timing correction in there and it's leaving a lot on the table that it shouldn't be. So that number is very tricky and not an indicator of anything that you can lean on as like let's say end user or a customer to know without talking to the calibrator and getting their feedback on it.
Yeah. If we're talking about our tuning, there is a certain amount of correction you want to see. That's how
you'll see some. Yeah, I don't know that we don't like target a number, but we have like a range from 0 to usually like negative like 4 or so degrees, 4 or 5 degrees.
But it should never say 0. I mean,
all the time, every time. I would be surprised.
There may be times it does.
If you're running 93. Now, if you're running like 100 and whatever octane fuel in there, and it's so far beyond like what that calibration is set up
with
for,
a 93 tune.
With a 93 tune, then you'll likely see a dead silent, just clean zero knock thing.
But that's not a normal.
That's not a normal situation.
Operating.
That's not what it's. Yeah. So yes, if you want it, if it's attainable on a 93 tune, that's one way you can attain it. But
there are inferior calibrations on the market where these safety systems are either disabled or detuned or neutered to a large extent. We have our fact check video about that where we go over a lot of that. So just because you're seeing something, but doesn't mean you're seeing the real thing either. So with our tunes, those safety systems and calibrations are optimized along with the high performance calibration measures we take, and all those systems are working and functional.